Well, the U.S. is one of the most advanced countries in the world, yet a new survey reveals a number of concerns about women's reproductive knowledge. Joining me now is Dr. Mary Jane Minkin, an OBGYN and clinical professor at Yale University School of Medicine, with some of those findings. Good morning.
Good morning, Tiffany. Thanks for asking me to be with you.
Absolutely. Thanks for being here. You know, I found it interesting that the survey polled 1,000 women between the ages of 18 to 40 about fertility. What were some of the findings that you found, and what was shocking to you?
Well, I was quite surprised by much of the information, particularly since I had helped come up with some of the questions. I was astounded by the answers. That indeed, well-balanced survey, but although 40% of the women in the survey did express some concerns, they thought they might have some problems getting pregnant at some point in the future, only 20% of the women in the study had actually talked to their reproductive health care professional about these kinds of issues. A third of the women in the study really didn't have an idea that some basic health issues could contribute to the lack of fertility. For example, weight. They didn't realize that being significantly overweight or underweight could contribute to poor ovulation. They didn't realize that smoking could contribute to poor pregnancy outcomes. They also didn't realize that having had a history of a sexually transmitted infection could interfere with fertility. And all of this stuff I thought was pretty basic, but they didn't understand that. They also didn't seem to really understand the impact of age on fertility. That, you know, many people do understand that as we get older, our fertility declines, but indeed in this survey, 40% of the women actually thought that women's bodies continued to make new eggs as we got older, just like guys making sperm. But indeed, we are unfortunately born with all the eggs we're ever going to have, and they just do get depleted over the course of time, and so eggs and ovulation eventually stop. Women didn't realize that. So there's sort of a disconnect with women concerned about ovulation, concerned about getting pregnant, but not really understanding these issues. And one good thing is that I think that the women did have a good handle. The majority of the women certainly understood that economic issues, job concerns, education concerns were impacted by having a child. They just didn't take into account the aging issue with the fertility and didn't talk about it with their health care provider. So this was sort of surprising to me.
You know, we're almost out of time, doctor, but I do want you to just maybe give a piece of advice for women who are struggling with trying to conceive. Is there anything they can do?
Absolutely. One thing is, again, to get in contact with your health care provider. If you've been trying to get pregnant for over a year and you're under the age of 35, do get in contact with your health care provider. If you've been trying for 6 months or more and you're over the age of 35, you want to be talking to your health care provider. And an excellent website with a lot of information on this, sponsored by the First Response people, is called nosooner.com. So if you are interested in these issues, go to nosooner.com. Lots of good information for you about reproductive health and how to keep it into good shape and get you pregnant when you want to be pregnant.
You're wonderful. Thanks for being here on The Morning Blend, Dr. Minkin.
Hardly. Thanks so much, Tiffany, and you guys stay warm.
Thank you so much. We'll try.